Hi, you guys. I'm really excited about today's live stream, even though it's a little bit different than anything else that we've ever done, and hopefully the streaming health is a lot better than what happened last week, because last week was a little bit crazy for those of you that were here for that. But what I wanted to talk about today is something that's pretty personal, I feel like. A lot of you guys, for whatever reason, have been asking a lot about breakups and relationships. And I don't want this video to just be about, what to do after a breakup, although I've put in the description box 2 of my blog posts that I've written that would help people through any type of breakup, anxiety, depression, and the things that I do. So if you need direct help for that, those blog posts will help. But also this live stream will help. And it may be a little bit longer than our usual live streams because I've got a lot to talk about in terms of this. And it's not just going to be specifically about, it's more about, I guess, life lessons. And I'm just telling it through the stories of, 3 different breakups that I've gone through in my life. I feel like they were 3 very significant breakups. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So I know you guys probably who came from Instagram are like, didn't we title this Breakups and Breakfast Burritos? And yes, we did. And I will tell you guys why it is titled that in a little bit. But first, quickly, I have a couple of announcements. And if you guys would, please let me know if the live stream is working for you or not working for you. Just say yes or no in the chat, and that would be great. So first announcement is that the retreat is actually happening. It's going to be happening at the end of July. It's going to be called Health and Healing. It's going to be in Rancho Palos Verdes, and I'm really, really excited about it. So first of all, it is going to include basically me showing you guys the healthy food that I make all the time. We're going to cook together. We are also going to heal together through yoga, meditation, journaling, releasing emotions. And I have about 4 different brands that have decided to get involved and sponsor some of it. So I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be amazing. And it's the first one that I'm doing, and I appreciate you guys' support so much. Second thing is that t-shirts are actually probably going to go live on the YouTube channel next week on Monday. If it's not next week, it'll be the week after, but those t-shirts are literally gonna happen, and I'm so excited about it. So you guys will be able to buy merch, and that's awesome. I might also do a mug, so if you guys like mugs, but yeah, so merchandise is gonna be happening. So those are the 2 announcements that I have. Okay, and now since there's more people here and everyone hopefully got your snacks and you're ready, today we are going to be talking about breakups, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys some very personal stuff. It is going to be about 3 very significant breakups that happened in my life, and basically what I learned from them, because you guys know this is the Live and Learn Army. So I'm getting real with you guys because I feel like I want to be as open as possible, but at the same time respect the people that have been in these relationships with me. So I'm going to not say names, and I'm going to leave out too much specific detail that I don't feel is necessary. And I also want to say that if any of you 3 are watching this video, I want to say thank you for being a part of my life and allowing me to learn through you. And so I do want to say that. Okay, so I'm going to preface this 3-parter as the living, the learning, and the letting go. So my very first part of this is the living. And some of you have been following me for a while, so this may have come up at some point. It has definitely been up on my blog. But I was in a 7.5-year relationship that ended. And it ended a few years ago, so it's not something that is super duper recent. However, it did really teach me a lot. And this is something that's kind of like, a lot, because after the breakup, I actually experienced depression for the first time in my life. And I was in and out of depression for about a year to a year and a half. And there are moments in my life where that still kicks up, and I found healthier ways of dealing with it. And I wrote a blog post and I linked it in the description box if you guys want those specific answers to how I did it. But it was so hard because I would be on the couch behind the one that you guys see, and I couldn't, for a few months, I really could not get myself off of the couch. I probably lost about 10 to 15 pounds because I couldn't eat. All I did was cry. Like, I just laid on the couch and cried. And so I experienced that. And now looking back on it, I know that it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because I didn't know it at the time, since I was in this relationship, that the person that I was with caused a lot of very negative behavioral patterns. And at the time, it was because I really didn't love myself, and I didn't have that type of self-worth yet. And I just validated myself in this other person, and I thought that someone else can be, I guess, the thing that made me happy. And actually, my friend Michelle, who I love, sent me something today that I do want to share with you guys. And I'm going to pull it up on my phone because it was a direct message that she sent me literally this morning that I want you guys to see, because I think it's amazing. And it's this: your solution is rarely someone else. And it's so true. But while I was living through this with this person, and we'll call this person number one, what I dealt with was just complete, I feel like just no communication whatsoever, and in a very unhealthy way too. So anytime I would talk about my feelings, this person would completely make me feel horrible for having any type of feelings. And he would ignore me. He would hang up the phone. He would go to sleep. He would ignore me, not even just for a little bit. He would ignore me for days. Just didn't talk to me, run away from the problem, and then make me apologize. And this happened for 7.5 years. And I thought this was completely normal. I thought this is what other people had to go through and other people had to deal with. I also found out that I had been cheated on twice. So that happened. And, you know, one thing that I do want to say about cheating is that whether you are the person that is in the relationship being cheated on, or you're the other person who this person is cheating with, both you should leave the situation. And I say it like this because if you condone cheating in any sense, you perpetuate the pattern, and it is up to you to just not perpetuate it. Don't even be involved in any side of it. It doesn't matter if you're the other guy or the other girl. You should not be involved in that, because that's saying, oh, this is acceptable, when it's not, because hurt people. That's not what you should be doing. But anyways, so that was what happened with that breakup. Best thing that ever happened to me, honestly, you guys. And that was the living through it. So that's the living part. It caused so much negative patterns. And when I did try to date after that, all of those patterns still showed up. I literally thought that every single person was going to cheat on me. And I literally thought that every single person was going to negate my feelings. And I was never, ever able to communicate my feelings, period. I couldn't do it. It would give me so much anxiety. So this brings me to the learning, which is person number 2. So after trying to date for a little while and trying to figure out, what I guess I wanted in a partner, because up until this point, I hadn't been single in nearly 8 years and going through this chaos with this one person. Thank you, by the way, for those of you who are sending love. I really appreciate it. I'm in such a better place, just so you guys know. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because if you're going through this, or you know someone going through this, share this video with them and just know that you'll get through it, and it does get better. Okay, so person number 2 was what I would call the learning part of this. And this person came into my life and was 100% committed to this relationship. It wasn't like dating someone who's like, let's just see how this goes. Let's go with the flow. Let's just try. You hear all that wishy-washy stuff. And by the way, I'm a firm believer that if you are not crazy about the person at the very beginning and they're not crazy about you, it's not worth doing. I do believe that for certain people, chemistry can develop afterwards, but for the most part, because I'm older now, I'm like, so it's like I don't want to waste anyone's time. If I'm not super into you and they're not super into me, then we just move forward. Okay, so this person told me from the beginning that we were just dating, by the way. Haven't had the relationship discussion yet, that he only dates one person at a time. Meaning no matter what, he just focuses on one girl and then see where it goes with that girl before bringing anybody else into the equation. But at the time, I was, getting out there, trying to date, going on multiple dates and, accepting dates from different guys. And I was doing all this stuff, and even though I really, really like this guy, this person number 2, right? Except I didn't know it at the time, but instead of investing in the relationship, I was testing the relationship. I was testing to see how much he liked me, how often he would call me, how often he would text me, like how many times a week we would hang out. All of these crazy expectations from my head, right? Because those are your own expectations. The other person has no idea that you have those. And also at the same time, I remember just testing and having so much anxiety, but not knowing I had anxiety until after the fact, where one time he asked me, hey, Olivia, do you want to go camping with my friends? And I want to premise this by saying that I freaking love camping. Camping is awesome. I love it. However, because I had anxiety, literally 30 questions would go through my mind. So I was like, what friends? Where are we going? And in my head, I was thinking, where am I going to pee? I'm going to look stupid. What if I have bad breath in the morning? And what if, we sleep in a tent and somebody farts? I was just thinking all of these crazy things instead of just being yeah, I love to go camping, because that's what I would say if any of my friends ever asked me if they wanted to go camping. I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't think about those bajillion things. So anyways, this entire span of time that I was with this person, he was 100% committed. And because of all the stuff that happened to me in my previous relationship, I couldn't believe that he was 100% committed, even though that I knew that he was. And the most amazing thing was that he showed me love and showed me kindness the entire way, even when I was blowing hot and cold, even though he knew that I was still going on dates with other people because we weren't in a fully committed relationship, right? And so he dealt with this and eventually told me that he would just like to be friends. And I accepted this. And that was kind of when all the learning happened. I realized, oh my God, it's me. It's not him. It's not all these other people. It's me. It's me that has all of these patterns and all of this pain and all of this stuff that I never healed through because of my previous relationship. And so once I realized that, I was like, you know what, Olivia, you need to hold yourself to that standard. And this is actually why, you guys, that we started live streaming too, is because I wanted to start sharing just all the stuff that I've learned in my life with you guys, and about how to treat people, and about loving people and being kind no matter what. Because the thing is, we're never going to be able to control all of the outside stuff. We're never going to be able to control if somebody decides to cut us off in traffic, if somebody at the grocery store decides to just yell at us, or if we trip on the sidewalk. We can't control those things. But what we can control is us. We can control how we react to those things. I mean, we may not be able to control the fact that some of that stuff may get us upset. It might make us feel like, oh, this sucks. But it can always be something that, you know, causes that type of emotion, but we can always realize that we still have the opportunity to control the perspective. We can still be like, oh, I guess that happened, but you know what? Life is good because I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z. You know, there's so many things to be grateful for. And so once I realized this, I did my best job ever to be that person that I would want to meet. And I don't mean that in romantic relationships. I mean that in everything. I want to be, you know, the best sister. I want to be the best friend. I want to be the best random person that you can say hi to at the grocery store. Or I want to be that person that genuinely wants to be there for people and wants to help them. Doesn't mean I don't have boundaries, and doesn't mean that I'm not aware that people can take that, you know, and use that to their advantage and try to use me. That happens. Okay, I get it. But that's not going to stop me from being me. That's not going to stop me from wanting to be just kind and loving. Okay. So this brings me to the part of what I would consider letting go. So we've done the living, we've done the learning, and now we're at the letting go. And this third person, oh my gosh. So after being single for like 2 years and dating during that time, I finally, I guess, let go of what I thought I could possibly want in a person and just kind of was just like, okay, I will just see what happens. And I always, I guess, in the back of my mind had, you know, that laundry list that you should throw away. I guess I had that. I still had that in the back of my mind. And this person came into my life and it happened, and I've never experienced anything like that. It was just like, it was like magic. Like, I can't even explain, like, you know, when you meet someone and you're just automatically comfortable with them because your energies just match, or just the chemistry or whatever it is. It was pure magic. That's the best way that I could describe it. And up until this point in my life, I've actually never fully experienced that with anyone where I'm like, whoa, like you are it. I don't know how that happened. I didn't know that you can even exist, but you freaking exist. And because I did all of this inner work, I got to this point where I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm going to force myself to work through all of these anxieties that I have, and I'm just going to tell people how I feel. And of course, this happened over the last 2 years of working through it also with my friends. And so I basically was like, hey, so I'm not going to date other people. I'm just going to date you. And this happened like, I don't know, the first day or the second day, because I truly believed that, you know, person number 2 doing that was the best thing that you can do. And here is why. The reason I truly believe in this is because when you build relationships with people, that becomes a stronger relationship when you work through things together. It's not like, you know, you decide to date someone, and then when something happens, you're like, okay, well, screw this because this is not working, so let me get back on a dating app and start swiping right. So it's like, don't, you know, like, I don't believe in that. I really believe in working through issues. And it was kind of amazing because with this person, we worked through anxiety. I told him that I get anxiety, and this is how bad it was. With person number 2, there were times, and a few moments with person number 3 as well, where I literally would send a text message. I would get so filled with adrenaline that my body would start shaking. It would completely shake. I would burst out crying in tears and be crippled on the floor. That's how bad my anxiety was. And thankfully, by telling my friends and all the people in my life how I feel constantly, which is usually just, I love you, you're amazing, I think that I'm so lucky to have you in my life. Or if something goes wrong, remembering how to communicate in a way that is healthy for both of us, considering the other person's feelings at the same time. So if someone does something that hurts my feelings, it'll go something like, hey, so, you know, I think that, how do I explain this? So I feel like you're one of my closest friends, but you said this thing and it kind of hurt my feelings, and I was wondering how we can fix that. Or I was wondering if this is something that we can work on together. And always considering that the other person has feelings as well. So that's how I began to communicate. And this person, number 3, worked through these anxieties with me, and that was amazing because I've never experienced that before. And at one point also told me that he had anxiety, so that it was actually really adorable. He's like, yeah, sometimes when like I don't hear from someone through text message for a few hours, I'm just like, where did you go? And so knowing that about him, I made sure to always like answer his text messages as, you know, I mean, I naturally just always answer text messages anyway, but never letting too much time go by because I didn't want him to feel anxious. I wanted him to understand that I was 100% in this, even though we didn't necessarily, you know, put a title on it until a little bit later. So then, and by the way, I will answer all of your questions after I finish telling you guys this whole story. And one of the things that I guess ended up happening, so it was seriously, it was amazing. The chemistry was there, like, we had the same life goals and the same things that we wanted. It was crazy how much of it worked. You know, when you have that synchronicity with a person where you're doing things together and it just kind of flows naturally the way that it's supposed to flow. I remember one of the things, and this may be really silly, is I remember holding his hand and I remember it just feeling so right. And up until that point, I've held other guys' hands, but it just never felt right. Either it was like the wrong fitting of your thumbs or like something just didn't feel fully right. Even with person number 2, holding his hand was always weird for some reason. So anyways, I was 100% in it. I made sure to be as loving and kind as possible and always consider his feelings and always holding myself to that standard of like, hey, what would I want the other person to be doing if, you know, they were in my shoes kind of thing. So if I don't want somebody else to be also dating multiple people, then I shouldn't date multiple people. And that was never me putting the pressure on another person. It was just me like, hey, so I'm only going to date you because that's what I feel is the right thing to do. You have the option of doing, you know, what you want to do. And so I really believe in that because I only believe you can only control your actions in what you're doing. You can't control what the other person is going to do, but you should allow the other person that kind of trust and that kind of communication so that if they decide they want to do that too, then it's going to be amazing. But if they decide they don't want to, then that's okay. I don't believe that you always have to be on exactly the same page at every single point. I believe that you should just be able to communicate really well with whatever it is. And unless, of course, it makes you feel bad and you decide you don't want to do that, that's fine too. But I am that person that's always like, so I'm going to make myself vulnerable first. I'm going to stand on the ledge, and if you want to meet me there, then great. And this doesn't only apply to romantic relationships. This applies to all the relationships in my life. And I believe this is why I have such strong, meaningful friendships in my life, is because I do this for my friends and anybody that meets me. Is I don't believe in having walls. Doesn't mean that there aren't times where I'm like, okay, you need to protect yourself because this person might not have the best intentions, because that does happen as well. But I also really like to see, I love seeing the good in people. And sometimes my friends tell me that I'm a little bit like too nice because all I can see is the good in people. But I do believe that if you see the good in people, that is what makes them rise to the occasion. And that's what makes them better people, is positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement doesn't work. At least I don't think so. And that's not how I go through life. So this part, because I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, is the part where I tell you that it did not work out with this person. And it was because he wasn't ready. And I have to say it was very, very sad for me to realize that this person wasn't ready. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to meet people and you're going to be amazing for each other, but the timing is just not right. And that's totally okay, because I really, truly believe that, you know, the letting go part is you allow things that are meant for you to come into your life, and you let go of things that are not meant to be in your life. However, just because something comes into your life and you let it go, it doesn't mean that it's not going to come back again when the timing is right, because the only real difference of getting what you want is time. You technically already have everything you ever want in life. The only difference is just time. You just need the time to pass for you to, whether you want to, graduate from college, whether you want a really good job, whatever it is, it's just time. And I would say that I do, like, how I got over this breakup, because this one is the most recent, is, well, first of all, I have the strategies on my blog that I wrote about what I do in terms of self-care. But also, I think when you give something your all and you always treat another person, no matter what, even if they have patterns, and a lot of people have patterns, and it can come from childhood. It can come from, your relationship with your dad, your relationship with your mom, your relationship with other adults, something that happened that was really traumatic to you. Any of those patterns and any of those triggers can come up in your relationships later. And you have to heal through those, and you have to work through those. And when stuff like that happens, I know that it's very easy for you, because you feel like if the other person is, testing your boundaries, or just testing the relationship, or pushing you away, or, doing anything that hurts your feelings, honestly, guys, it's never about you. It's like almost 100% always about something that they're going through. And when you understand that, what you can do, which is what I believe in doing, is always showing that person kindness and always showing that person love, because that's when they need it the most. And at the same time, when you understand that it's not about you, because you've done the work and you've healed yourself and you have that self-worth and you have that self-love, exactly, it is mirroring. It mirrors the fact that, okay, this person's just not ready yet. And maybe at a different time in their life, and we maybe collide again, it's going to be amazing, because all of these other things did work. It doesn't mean that you need to stop your entire life. It means you keep going and you keep allowing. And maybe someone else magical is going to come into your life. Or maybe this person is going to be like, oh crap, I'm going to go heal through all of these things, because if someone else comes into my life that I really, really want to be with, I'm not going to be ready for it. Because you really have to hold yourself to that standard. You have to be kind and you have to be good. And that's what I truly believe in. And that's what I do. And so even though this person was going through a lot of chaos, I saw so much good in him. And I saw that, he has the capability of healing himself and going through all of these things and being that person. So I know for a lot of people, maybe they would close the door. I don't believe in that. And ironically though, definitely person number one, I was like, no, that door is shut forever. Stay out of my life, because those are so many negative patterns, and then he doesn't even want to work through them. Person number two, I don't think that it was the right person. Now, knowing what I know, I don't feel like we have the same outlook on life. So that's what happened. And with person number three, I don't know. That I think I'm just letting go in my life at the moment, and sending love and sending kindness, just energy-wise, to this person, and hoping that he figures it out. And if he does and the timing is right, it's going to be amazing. But if not, maybe somebody else will come into my life. And so I want to bring this all back to breakups and breakfast burritos, because you guys are probably wondering what the heck that means. And this is also going to be the part where I tell you #LiveAndLearnArmy goal of the week, which is that you gotta keep trying. Always be kind, always be good, but you gotta keep trying, and always keep that in your back pocket and in the front of your mind at the same time, is that you're going to go through these types of relationships, whether it's romantic or friendship wise, or maybe it's even family wise, and people are not always going to be kind, and you're going to get hurt and it's going to suck, but that should never stop you from trying to be good. And it should never stop you from trying to be kind. And in general, it should never stop you from trying. It should never stop you from trying to work through your anxiety and running towards it like a freaking bull in a china shop, because that's definitely what I did. It should never stop you from trying to get out of depression, and be gentle with yourself because it doesn't have to be perfect. It should never stop you from wanting to learn how to communicate or wanting to cultivate deep relationships in your life. It should never stop you from wanting to be a better person and wanting to grow. So, on that note, I have a breakfast burrito. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, this is the leftover breakfast burrito from yesterday. And so the Live and Learn Army emoji of the week is obviously a burrito. And what I want you guys to do is try at something, whether I want it to challenge you. So try at communicating your feelings to someone that maybe it's difficult to do, or try a new workout, or try a new recipe. Just try something new and keep trying. And that is the lesson that I want to give you guys for today. Again, if you guys are going through a breakup or you're having trouble letting go of somebody, I have written up a blog post that I put in the description box, and it's 7 ways of healing through stress, anxiety, depression, and trauma. And those are the things that I do when I am dealing with something that is like a breakup. So I meditate a lot, I exercise, I eat healthy. I just basically turn everything inward and start taking care of me. So that is something that I wanted to share with you guys. And guys, I also want to let you know, whether you're in a relationship or you're single, you can be 150% happy. That's possible. Doesn't mean you don't have downtimes. Doesn't mean you don't have anxiety. Doesn't mean that you're not going to go through moments of depression or stress out or have life be like, why is this happening to me? Like, totally. But doesn't mean that you can't also be happy in the present moment. So that's what I want to leave you guys with. And I'm going to answer and read some of the live chat right now. So thank you guys also for all the hearts. It's been amazing. I love that. Don't forget the breakfast burrito emoji. Oh, and also I'm going to get everything together to do a giveaway. So that is going to be happening probably around, I want to say 6:30 today. So I'm going to put everything together, take a photo, and put it up on Instagram. And it's going to be for the Live and Learn Army. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting. 2 is, how do you feel these relationships have affected your anxiety? I am that person that when it comes to anxiety, I run toward it. So if I know that basically talking about my feelings, this was, back about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, talking about my feelings is something that is going to scare the hell out of me and I couldn't do it and cause so much anxiety in me, I run towards it and I make myself do it 200%. One of the things that I did was create a bunch of goals for when I was going through depression, because I had no friends after getting out of that 7.5-year relationship. I mean, I had a few, but really I had no friends because this person, I made him my entire life and I made him what would make me happy, right? So I basically started from rock bottom, and I want to let you guys know, if that's where you are, that's actually the best place to be, because now you get to build upwards. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go make 5 groups of friends, because I was like, even if I hit this only 1 out of 5, I'm going to be great. So I made these crazy, crazy goals for myself. And I just always believe in like being outside of your comfort zone. That's the only way to live, and just really striving to just keep trying, in life. And it's not going to be easy, and you're not going to win every time, and it's not going to be successful every time. But all that really matters is that you keep trying. Like that's it. I know that sounds like a broken record, but it's true. Once you meet your soulmate, I'm telling you, you will be so happy that it didn't work out with anyone else. It's beautiful, and everyone deserves love and whole love for them. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Okay. So I think that is, I don't know, I'm like clicking random things. So I think that is what I want to leave you guys with. So Again, goal of the week, try something new. Use the breakfast burrito emoji. Yes, I've always wanted to use the burrito emoji. And this is probably our longest live stream that we've ever done, and probably also the most personal that I've ever shared with you guys. So if you have not yet give this video a thumbs up, please thumbs it up. I would really appreciate that, because it was a little bit, I don't know, nerve-wracking to share this part of me with you guys, because I never want to, throw anybody under the bus or make other people uncomfortable, or, just like put anyone on blast. Okay, Sean asks, how do I get over the relationship even though you both are still friends and still talk every day? Should we not talk to each other at all even though the feelings are still there? Sean, okay, so this is just my advice, in my opinion. I never stay friends with any of my exes, except for maybe my one ex from when I was like 15, and I don't even really count that. And the reason is because when that person is consistently in your life, at least for me personally, this may not apply to you, I can't really work through all of those feelings, because those feelings are constantly there if I keep seeing this person. I think that for me, there's actually two reasons. First of all, because it hurts you and it hurts the other person. It's really difficult to remain friends if you don't have that period of time apart to like work through those emotions and get over it. And everybody's healing time is different. But secondly, because the reason I don't stay friends with my exes is because if someone else comes into my life and I want to, be with this other person, I don't want them to ever question, trust, because there's this ex still in my life and we're good friends. That, maybe they'll still be a very secure person, but I never want to make anyone feel like they're walking on eggshells, because I've walked on eggshells with people before, especially in my 7.5-year breakup. And I never want anyone to ever feel like that. And one of the things I did with person number 3 is, I don't believe in playing games, by the way. I'm not that person that's going to be like, I'm going to wait 3 days to text you. No, if I want to talk to you, I'm just going to call you, or I'm going to text you, whatever. But one of the things that I did was I was the first person to say, I'm going to only date you. I was also the first person to let him know that any of the guys that were trying to date me or potentially trying to date me, I told all of them that I was seeing somebody, and that we possibly could be friends if we had never gone on like a date, but they were just my friend, but like kind of liked me. I'm like, no, we just stay friends. But I never wanted to create a scenario where the other person would ever feel uncomfortable or feel like they couldn't trust that I was 100% committed in that situation, even if we didn't slap on a title until a little bit later. So I hope that answers your question, Sean. And I also want to say that since you're going through something like this, I'm so sorry. That sucks. And I understand it. I think that if you eventually want to be friends, because I know people who have stayed friends with their exes, I can't tell you if that's positive or negative. I just know for me, I don't do it because both of you need to heal. But they have done that, but always after time has passed or all the feelings have completely dissipated. So that's my best advice for that. And I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. This might have been actually one of my favorite live streams for some reason. I think because I just got to share so much of my life with you guys, and hopefully you guys got to know me a little better. If you did and you enjoyed it, please thumbs it up. And also please leave a comment down below and let me know what your current relationship status is, because I just want to know. Obviously me, I'm single. So, and not really trying to date. I think it's just one of those things that it's going to happen when it's going to happen, and just trusting, allowing, and letting go. So yeah. Okay. So I do want to answer this one more question, since it just came up. You're welcome, Sean. I wish you the best of luck. Claudia asks, how do you feel about taking a break in a relationship? Do you think that's a sign the relationship isn't going to work out? I think every relationship is different, and the two people have to be mature enough to communicate why they're taking the break, and that could be for different reasons. So, I mean, technically in this situation with person number 3, I left it open. I know that this person can't be in my life right now, and I have to put up those boundaries. And also, you know, I held out my hand to help him, but he wasn't ready to take it, and that's okay. But I really believe that if you let go So let's say potentially just take a break. If this person's meant for you, time will just bring you back together later. Or you're going to create space for something even more amazing. I don't think that it means that it's not going to work out. I think it just means that right now the timing may not be right. I think that's all it means. And all you need is time, guys. Like that's it. Allow and let go, and that's it. So I'm looking forward to seeing all your breakfast burrito emojis and all of that. I love you guys so much. I'm going to do the giveaway thing. It's probably going to go up about 6:30, and I will see you guys next Monday for another live stream. I hope you guys like this one because it was a lot of me in it, and now you guys know. So I love you, and I'll see you guys next week. Mwah.